Hello, this is Steve Dietrich, the Trail Navigator. Just bringing you a quick video of a visit that we did on the cliffs of the Neuse State Park. This was a small little park. I think it's about 800-900 acres. And we recently visited this park, and I just wanted to share this video with you. And on this trip, we also hiked a couple of the trails. And so we're going to show you those trails as well. I would consider this park a very family-friendly park. All the trails and everything that I saw in the park were very much easy to moderate at the most. And so let's get parked here, and I will share with you the first trail that we went, which is a very short trail. It's called the 350 yard trail, which the trail is actually 350 yards long, but it is the one with the most spectacular views. Okay, we're coming up on the first overlook. This is merely steps away from the automobile. Very obtainable for even a person in a wheelchair. So this overlook is pretty much similar to the ones along the edge of the trail. The trail follows a fence, and there's several places along the fence that you can get an overlook of the actual river. So let's go take a look at those. This is the last overlook along this trail, which is, I just feel 50 or 100 yards down the trail from where we started. From here, you're actually on a little outcropping or peninsula that sticks out just slightly over the edge, and they've built a platform out here for you to climb out and take a look at this. So we're going to head from here on down the trail and take a look at what's at the end of the 350 yard trail. According to the sign along the trail, there's no swimming in the river, but they do allow fishing in the river. So if you happen to be a fisherman and like to bank fish, this might be a great place to do that. I do know that you do need a North Carolina fishing license, state license or out-of-state license in order to do that. And this is actually the where the trail goes right into the edge of the water, where you're right at level with the Neuse River. So it is a slow flowing river. I understand that it is part of a canoe trail, and this is one of the stops along the way. This is the creek that flows out of the swimming lake that they have in the other side of the park. And right here with the cypress knees is where it drains into the river. So, you know, at this point, the other trails that we're going to follow, I believe, follow along this creek. And just to kind of give you an idea of how easy these trails are, I actually wore flip-flops during this hike, which is very abnormal for me. I normally would not wear flip-flops while I'm hiking, but this trail is that easy. So if you're not in the best of health or physical condition, don't let it be a hindrance for you coming out on this trail, because I think you would enjoy it no matter what shape you happen to be in. In case you're wondering, yes, that is poison ivy. I did see a good bit of it along the trail and just thought I would point it out. However, this trail is very wide. You don't really need to brush up against trees or bushes or poison ivy for that matter. It's even along the trail there, as you can see it on the ground. But since the trail seems to be a couple of feet wide in every location, it didn't seem to be a problem for me, even in flip-flops. Okay, this is kind of an interesting place here, where the creek to the left is called Still Creek, and the creek to the right is the creek that flows from the lake. I think it's called Lake Creek. They actually merge together here, but the water quality is completely different. The water from the lake looks to me like it has iron in it, and the one on the other side, or Still Creek, does not. So this is pretty common on this state park. Here we are along a trail, and there is a huge sign with "Here you are" type map. So my wife and I were looking at this, trying to make a determination. Our plan is to hike as much of this loop as we can. We have very limited time, and that's her saying "Here we are" and let's go around there and then around the outside loop. And basically I'm confirming that. And then we'll probably just skip the little trail in the middle there and head on out of here. We are on having a long day. We were basically stopped at this state park on the way through. So let's head on down the Galax Trail and check out and see what else is up ahead. Just to my right, you just saw a trail come in. That trail actually ties into the Lake Loop Trail. It wasn't actually marked on here, which was kind of interesting. As well as they've marked all the other trails, I would have assumed that they'd have put a better marking on it. But according to the map, that's exactly what that is there. Since we kind of caught up with the family ahead of us, we decided to just poke around and look at the rocks that were in the trail. And it's kind of interesting. We're on the top of this hill, and yet all the rocks are rounded as if they'd been in the creek at some time. So I suppose as the creek cut its way through this hillside, it left its rocky bed behind it, which is kind of a neat find. Some really pretty rocks for just finding along the edge of the trail. So it would be something that's almost polished up. So I think they've got a big enough head start, so we're going to head on back down the trail. This is something we've seen in the woods several times. It's a big growth on the back of a leaf. It looks like a big fungus or something like that. Really not sure what it is. I mean, I have seen it in woods all over the Carolinas. My wife just happened to spot it there, so we took a look at it. If anybody that watches this knows exactly what that is, I mean, I'd love to know. If you want to leave something in the comment box, let me know what you think it is or know it is. And just kind of stopped here. Somebody had cut a square hole out of the stump. So it was kind of interesting. I was just curious if they were going to put a bench there, maybe set a post down in the stump or something like that. But we're seeing a lot of signs of some kind of equipment being up and down this trail at this point. So they're definitely doing some maintenance on the trail, but it doesn't seem to affect, foot traffic. So we haven't had any issues with the trail being closed or anything like that. Mystery solved. Here's the piece of machinery we've been looking at the tracks of for about a quarter mile. Looks like a nice piece of machinery. It looks, perfectly sized for the trail. So here we come up on another trail map, and again, this is just as indicative of how they've marked this trail. However, we've been talking and we're really short on time, and so instead of doing the bird trail, we're actually going to take a left here and head on back, just so that we can get back on the road. But I really enjoyed this hike, and I was glad I was able to get a couple of loops in, or a couple of trails in anyway. And so let's just head on back out and finish up the trail. I guess I'm always going to be a kid at heart. So there's a tree overhanging the swamp, and of course I'm going to walk out on it. It's kind of funny from this perspective in the camera. It really doesn't look that high up, but I think it's about 5 feet off the ground. Of course, a lot of bog and mud below it, so one slip could be a kind of a messy day, but of course it didn't fall off of it. But yeah, it's kind of funny. I saw that and I just had to go, and it just kind of reminded me of the kids. That's the way we were as kids. We just had to climb out on something like that no matter what. So pretty close to the end of the trail here, and so we're gonna keep on trucking. So at this point we're right at the place where the two trails actually merged, and I get to pass a ranger here with probably a Boy Scout troop. On their way in. They've all got tools and whatnot, so they're going to be doing some trail maintenance and working on this trail. So it looks like a nice bunch of kids, and I wish I had the battery left in the into the camera. I'd definitely go back to that log and see just how many of these kids actually climbed out on it like I did. So at this point my battery is dying on the camera, so we're going to lose video here very shortly, and we'll finish up back at the parking lot. Okay, with the fresh battery and the camera mounted to the Jeep, let's go explore this park a little bit more. I heard there's a nice swimming lake, so I'd like to go look at that, as well as a campground. However, there was a sign that said the campground was closed until August. That would be August of 2017. And yeah, actually they have it blocked off. I'm turning around at it now, so I was hoping I could get in there and take a look at it, maybe give you guys a drive through, those that are interested in camping in a campground like that. just to kind of get a lay of the land, see what the sites look like, see if it's someplace you want to go. So if we make it back here after the campground's open, I'll try to get that done. So right now I'm actually headed over to their 11-acre lake, which has a beach and paddle boats and picnic area and that type of thing. We really don't have time to get out. I just like to kind of take it all in when I go look at a park like this, and it looks really nice. I don't know if you can see it from the Jeep, but there's a nice picnic area down there and sandy beach and stuff like that. So anyway, this concludes our tour of this state park, and I hope you enjoyed the video, and we're just going to roll it on out of the park and head back up the road. Leave any comments or questions. I'll be glad to correspond with you if you have anything that you need. Thank you, and hope to see you on the trail.